call the roll, please.
Nelson.
Here.
Hildebrand.
Here.
Matzdorf.
Here.
Penkwitz.
Here.
Tauschek.
Here.
Herman.
Here.
Binder.
Here.
Gilson.
Here.
Next item on the agenda is a pledge. Please stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight, before we start the council meeting, I would like to take a slight diversion and ask our city administrator, Tim, to introduce our new employee. Tim.
Yeah, so I think everyone has met Jack now, but Jack Johnston has just started this past Monday, so he's got a week and a couple days in. Coming to us from the town of Cedarburg, he's our new assistant city administrator / community development director. So obviously learning the position, going to be taking over those zoning administrator duties formerly that Pete did, and a lot of other tasks that we have going. So it's very exciting.
Good. Welcome, Jack.
Thanks. Glad to be here. Happy to meet you all. Look forward to getting to know you. So, thanks.
Sounds good. Moving on to item 3, Chair will entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda. Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Anna.
Herman.
Yes.
Matzdorf.
Yes.
Binder.
Yes.
Penkwitz.
Yes.
Gilson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Tauschek.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 4, this is the audience portion where we ask people to sign in and be recognized. You do the talking and we do the listening. Tonight, no one signed up. We certainly encourage people to come and tell the council what's on their mind. Item 5 is not needed. No items were removed from the consent agenda. I don't want to scare anybody, but the next 3 items are going to be public hearings, and there's going to be a lot of gaveling going on, so don't jump. With that, I declare a public hearing open for ordinance number 1, an ordinance amending section 13-1-75 of the General Code of Ordinance of the City of Plymouth, Wisconsin regarding detached heating systems. I'll ask Tim to give us a brief explanation, and then if anybody else wants to speak on it, raise your hand. I'll recognize you, and you're welcome to talk. Tim.
Sure. So we discussed this item at Committee of the Whole about 2 months ago, but detached heating systems, so for example, outdoor wood-burning stoves are regulated only in structures that allow human habitation per 13-1-75F of the municipal code. So to install a heating system in Plymouth, it has to meet specific manufacturing requirements and specific location distance requirements away from other structures, so they do not cause smoke and other issues that would be a public nuisance. So those location items are outlined in your staff memo. I'm not going to go through them. We've already gone through them previously, but essentially it needs to be far enough away to not provide an impact on other property owners. What we have found is that detached outdoor heating systems are not currently regulated when attached to structures that are not unsuitable for human habitation, and that example is a pool. So in July 2024, we did have a resident that raised concern about such a heating system in their neighborhood using to burn wood constantly to heat a pool, causing constant smoke in the area. So Alder Nelson did request this item be placed on the committee whole agenda for discussion. We discussed that at the committee of the whole. The committee did refer it to Plan Commission as it is a zoning code ordinance. The Plan Commission did meet on December 5th and unanimously recommend ordinance number 1 regarding section 13-1-75F regarding outdoor heating systems. Really the only change in the ordinance is instead of saying regulating for habitable homes, it regulates those for all detached outdoor heating systems. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Being a public hearing, the chair will recognize anyone who wishes to talk on item A, ordinance number 1. Alder Nelson.
I'll just make the comment that it makes sense to me if a structure that's burning wood is used for, or limited because it's used for a house. I mean, smoke is smoke. It doesn't care if it's providing heat to a home or providing heat to a swimming pool or a shed or whatever. It's a nuisance, and that's the reason you have that smoke ordinance, I guess you'd call it. So that's why I thought it was a good idea to include this for all use on a property.
Any other comments?
It will not
Alder
take,
Hildebrand.
yeah, it will not take away from fireplaces or wood burning apparatuses that have gotten building permits in the past and are grandfathered in. I did go the distance with trying to see if that person that the arguments were about, he did not pull any permits, he did not ask for permits. So when it comes to this ordinance, it doesn't even come into play for him anymore. So I will agree with it, noting that what is already stays already.
Correct. And Alder Hildebrand, if there were an item that were already in place that was correctly permitted because it's a zoning code, it would be grandfathered in. But in this case, there was, a permit was not pulled.
Any other comments? Hearing none, I declare public hearing closed. Chair will entertain a motion on ordinance number 1 and ordinance amending section 13-1-75 of the General Code of Ordinance of the City of Plymouth, Wisconsin regarding detached heating systems.
I'll move that we approve ordinance number 1 regarding detached heating systems.
I'll second his motion.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Penkwitz,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Tauschak,
Yes.
Gilson,
yes,
Binder,
Yes.
Hartman.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. I declare a public hearing open for ordinance number 2 and an ordinance amending the City of Plymouth, Wisconsin Comprehensive Plan existing land use map and future land use plan map by changing property from commercial to residential, specifically parcel 5927-1821-077. Tim, you want to give us a brief start on this, please?
Yeah, I'll give a brief start, and I'm going to talk about ordinance number 2 and number 3 at the same time as they work together. But then you can continue to gabble things in and out for the public hearing as needed. So parcel ending in 077 is situated south of the Jimmy John's Scooters and the Advanced Auto Parts. Plankview Green Development LLC, which is also Van Horn Development, which is now also I think Northtown Development. Has submitted a request for rezoning and a comprehensive plan amendment to support a future multifamily residential project. So the parcel is marked in blue in the accompanying map. Previously, a cobblestone hotel was potentially in this location. They have changed directions and are now looking again at a multifamily development. So the comprehensive plan lists this as commercial. Again, Plankview Green Development LLC does seek an amendment to reclassify this parcel as residential. Again, noted as initially as a hotel site. Given this parcel is already the parcel to the south where multifamily is already planned, is designated as residential, and Plymouth's workforce housing needs, staff does recommend this amendment to the comprehensive plan, changing it from commercial to residential. Ordinance number 3 is on the rezoning side, so the parcel is currently listed as B3 Highway Business. The request is to rezone it as R6 high-density multifamily residential. The adjacent properties to the north are Jimmy John's, Scooters, and Advanced Auto. Those are B3 zoning. To the west is the Pick and Shave Shopping Center. That is B3 zoning. To the south and east, we have vacant land and the R6 zoning. So it is already zoned high-density multifamily residential. So considering the surrounding uses and the absence of nearby single-family homes, that's what we really keep in mind for that R6 district, that high-density residential. Staff does support the rezoning request. I also outline the following outcomes from the strategic plan, which is expanded economic development and increased housing options for all. One thing I would note is that a condition established in December 2022 during the CSM process for these parcels noted that a development agreement is required because one is a landlocked parcel, so that is still in effect. I will tell you that the Van Horn Group is working to merge these parcels together to make it one cohesive parcel, so they will have street access, and we will no longer have that landlocked parcel, which I think is a good change as well. The only other thing to note is, per the city's financial advisor, we did recently create TID 7 with a thought that this would have been a cobblestone hotel. The change to the residential would cause us to exceed the TID number 7 should something be built there for classified residential permitted of 35%. So prior to anything being constructed in this location that is residential, a TID amendment process would need to take place. So we will work with the Van Horn Group. We'll talk about, this will be part of our development agreement discussions with them as we move forward. So the developer is aware of this requirement that prior to building any residential structures, we'll have to update the TID project plan. So at the Plan Commission meeting on December 2nd, 2024, the Plan Commission did recommend a rezoning request and comprehensive plan amendment as recommended by staff to the Common Council. So staff is happy to answer any questions and recommends both for approval.
Thank you, Tim. Being a public hearing, the chair will recognize anyone else who wants to comment on ordinance number 2 at this public hearing. Name and for the record, please.
My only concern when I look at all this development that's happening in the city of Plymouth is what's going to happen when somebody needs to go somewhere at 3:30 in the afternoon? 2.5 years from now, when all these apartments are up and the new residential development's done, and now these apartments are up, and there's an extra 500 to 600 cars on the street in Plymouth at drive time, what then? What then? Where's our traffic plan for having 500 to 600 more cars on the streets of Plymouth, Wisconsin between 3:30 and 5:30 every day? And worse yet, when people are getting ready to go to work in the morning. It's gonna happen. Every address is gonna have 2 cars. That's how we live in this country today. Put another 250 units, 300 units in town, cars are gonna come with the people. How are we gonna handle it? What's it gonna be like to live here then? That's my concern.
Thank you. Any other comments? I declare the public hearing closed for ordinance number 2. Chair will entertain a motion regarding ordinance number 2 and an ordinance amending the City of Plymouth, Wisconsin Comprehensive Plan existing land use map and future land use plan map by changing property from commercial to residential, specifically parcel 5927-182-1077.
I'll move approval of ordinance number 2.
Second is motion.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion on ordinance number 2? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Mattsdorf,
Yes.
Binder,
Yes.
Pankwitz.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. I declare a public hearing open for ordinance number 3 and ordinance amending section 13-1-21 zoning map of the zoning code of the City of Plymouth, parcel 5927-182-1077, as explained by Tim when he was doing kind of double duty a few seconds ago, relating to the zoning or ordinance number 2 and 3. Public hearing, the chair will recognize anyone who wants to talk on ordinance number 3. I declare a public hearing on ordinance number 3, an ordinance amending section 13-1-21 zoning map of the zoning code of the City of Plymouth, parcel 592718210077 closed. Chair will entertain a motion regarding ordinance number 3.
I would make a motion to approve ordinance number 3.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll on ordinance number 3.
Penquitz,
Yes.
Binder,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschak.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Moving on to item 7, discussion and possible action of Ski Hill Construction pass-through agreement with County Department of Public Works, CCWP, and the City of Plymouth. Tim, you want to give us a brief summary on that, please?
Sure, this is just the first amendment to the exclusive license agreement for Nut Hill. So at the meeting on November 12th, 2024, the city did enter that exclusive license agreement with Cheese Capital Winter Park Incorporated to provide those recreational activities at Nut Ski Hill. Sheboygan County has agreed to support the earthwork and construction for the ski hill. However, the county can only directly contract with municipalities and not nonprofits. So as such, the attached agreement is a license agreement with CCWP that specifies the city will directly contract with the county, and the Ski Hill Group will provide funds in advance in an escrow account. The county will then bill the city of Plymouth for the project, and we will reconcile expenses at the end. I have talked to the CCWP. I do have the signed agreement that happened right after we sent the packet out. So they have agreed to the terms. Staff does recommend approval.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
Mayor,
Alderman Tauschak.
I would make a motion to approve First Amendment to exclusive license agreement for Nut Ski Hill.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? As the pass-through from the county and the Ski Hill Group, are we, do we have any liability on any unpaid or uncompleted work at all?
No, that would be all on the Ski Hill Group.
Okay. Alderman Hildebrand.
Yeah, could you make the verbiage Nut Ski Hill? That's what they're gonna call it. I think we should have that.
Sure. So this, I guess this would not be for renaming. This is just an amendment to the agreement
No,
that we
we're
have
not
with the group.
renaming, but that's what it's called.
Sure.
Let's pause a minute here. I think as long as we use the same language as what's in the original agreement,
Correct.
that's what we should use. And I would ask first and second to agree to whatever that language is.
And Mayor, just as a heads up, the actual agreement language does say Nut Ski Hill.
Okay, because I think we should not mess with language at this point. So as long as we have complete agreement on that.
Correct.
Okay, that sounds good. Any other discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschak,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Binder,
Yes.
Penquitz.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. For the audience, we'll be going into closed session for the next few minutes, and it's anticipated we will have at least one vote when we come out. So at this point, I'll ask people as we're going through the process to clear the room. Chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to the following. Pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, paren 1, paren G. For the record, let it show that we are now back in open session. Moving on to item 10, discussion and possible action on closed session item. The chair will entertain a motion on the license denial for the bartender.
Motion to deny.
I'll second the motion.
We have a first and a second to deny the application appeal for alcohol license denial bartender license. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Binder,
Yes.
Penkwitz,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
No.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Matstrick.
Yes.
Count is
7-1.
7-1. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.